Bucks here. So, the meta of online Madden, what is it since we basically done with our first weekend league? There's a few. I think the meta is okay varied right now. It's not the most varied of all time, but it's not quite like, not as bad as it has been in years past. Like, I think right now the meta is about as good as we've seen it. At least online play is. I don't know what the solo battle meta is right now, as I haven't really played them yet, but regardless of all that, I'm going to go through what is the meta, just help you learn kind of like how to fight the things that we're seeing online. And of course, people will throw some variants of that at you. So you always need to be in a show. You got to think during games sometimes. Otherwise, you can just go through the Oakland tour, now named Las Vegas tour, and run stretch, which we'll get to in a second, and run D. So let's talk about man defense first. It's something that I've put out videos on. Man defense is pretty tough. And check out my video from earlier today on how to beat man coverage for one-play touchdowns. That is basically, I think the number one thing you'll go against online is people spamming man defense, but it's starting to shift a little bit. So people are going to like dollar type sets. They'll go to the cover one robbers. This is probably the most run play online right now, at least at like higher ends. Then people kind of like man up, at least at the start of the game. Until they see you beat them consistently in man, they're going to start the game against you. At least most opponents will. So trips is a fine formation. Gun bunch is fine. Z routes, crossing patterns, motion slants, running back routes like that, the option route from the running back, stuff like this does a great job beating man. But definitely want to go through and have more than just like one or two tools to beat man. So now I got the slant, now I got that crosser. Oops, I got hit. And then they have like edge threats sometimes or under pressure guys to make you throw the ball inaccurate on their defensive line. So that's a big portion of the meta. And I'm not going to go spend too much time on it because people have seen a lot of that. So know how to beat man coverage. If you don't, you're kind of screwed. So with that, people are starting to switch into more like cover three, but then they'll get funky with it. Sometimes they'll go to like man align on their cover three, and it's like, oh, do I have man coverage? They'll put a quarter outside so they get a better angle off that. And like, oh, am I in man? And then they set up a man beater, and they're like, wait, no, that's zone. Oh, crap, what is this? And then you're like, oh, okay. So you see that a little bit as a variant off of man. Definitely something to be aware of. Always set up both man and zone beaters. What's a good man and zone beater? A drag route, slant route, something underneath to basically check down if they fool you for a play. So that way you can pick up a couple yards. Not every play, so that way you don't have to like throw the ball away all the time. Obviously, throwing the ball away is one of the best tools in your tool shed. Definitely get used to it. Definitely know what throwing the ball away is and does. But yeah, you want to take a couple yards. So always really have like an under route too, or two under routes to kind of check down to different sides of the field. On offense, like because of like the mixing up of coverages, there's a lot more like emphasis on the flats this year. Definitely be aware of the flats. Almost always when I come out, I like to play zone a little bit more than man. So I always start the game in hard flats because people do take advantage of you. And then once they start hitting the corners, then you start putting on purple patterns, or you can man a guy up on a corner route. So you do start to see that, but like that's kind of the meta right now. Either cover three or man coverage for the passing game. Okay? Let's get into the running game. There's a little bit more. Let me talk about that in a second. I do want to go through defenses before we go through offenses. So, cloud coverages over there. It's kind of people starting to learn cover three bombs, so then you got to put a guy in like a deep half. Oops, wrong guy. You go on the deep half. Whoops, you go on the deep half. I clicked the wrong guy. All right, and you can like use it over here, man him up, whatever. Put him in a flat probably. So that way you can't get beat over the top with a cover three beater because he's on the deep half. So regardless, zone coverage, man coverage is the majority of what I'm saying. So cover three and man. So have beaters for both. Have multiple plays because people will pick up. That's why people run the same play over and over, the same base defense, because they know a lot of people's playbooks are limited to like one or two plays against certain coverages. So if they see your one or two plays against the same coverage over and over, they're like, well, now I can limit your playbook because if I switch between cover 2, 3, man, you have different plays for each of those, and you can beat me different ways and I have to keep guessing. Whereas like if I see the same thing the whole game against the same coverage, it's a lot easier for me to play defense. So practice multiple plays against multiple different defenses, okay? Now also on defense, people are going into like 3-3-5 is a big one. They will go to cover 2, and 3-3-5 is a main thing of their offense. We'll go gun bunch here. Let's just do pat sail or something. I don't know. We'll do verticals. Verticals is pretty big because you can basically snap throw this against almost any coverage. Cover 2, you don't snap throw it, but you just throw it like right there. And that's a little bit, you just got to read cover 2 versus cover 3. So there you go. That's a little bit of that. But basically, people now, when they see that, they'll man guys up here. What people are doing are cross-manning a lot of guys here. So like, it'll look like cover 2, but they're actually manning up, cross-manning. Obviously, having something like Honey Badger here, because he's got high man coverage, is great too. And then you have a Cloud Flat over there. Either you can use him to man up the running back, because people are using a lot of wheel routes from the running backs at a gun bunch too. So something like this to try and confuse him, and then basically try and take a few other routes away. You can kind of put him on a purple route to take crossers. Make sure you have the zone depth and the quarterback and the coach adjustment down to 25 yards or 20. I usually start at 20, and then depending on the cross they're throwing at us, 25 I go to. This guy can either stay back here, or you kind of like put him in mid-read, put him back into a purple. Definitely a few things, and then just watch over the top for like Z routes or post patterns from circle. So he just ran a streak to circle. So definitely something you want to be on the lookout too. If they're just going to run a straight streak if they're on verticals, maybe a better idea to put that guy into a Cloud Flat to get a jam. So keep that Cloud Flat there if you're going to cross-man him, because Cloud Flat does get a little bit of that jam. So like if you cross-man him, put him into a purple. Maybe it's better to cross-man with a safety rather than the... so man him up on the running back and leave that Cloud Flat there, because Cloud Flats will get jams. The other zones don't. So there we go. So now your man coverage over there has a better chance, even though it's still touchdown. Better chance at least catching him. But you're not going to do it with a slow linebacker against Miko. Regardless, that's the meta. And sometimes you just got to hope they don't shoot over top of you because they keep driving. If they keep hitting you in underneath stuff, sometimes you just got to take chances against smart opponents. So anyways, so cover 2 is here. Cover 2 and 3-3-5. The blitzes aren't great on any formation in game except for... let me switch sides here. There is, I would say, 2 good blitzes I've run against in online play. Just call it play. 2 good blitzes I've run, and I'll show them to you right here. Well, I'll show one of them. The other one, I didn't love it. I didn't love it. But I'll show you the main one that we're running against for like pressure. Gun bunch. We'll do, I don't know, flanker drive. Verticals. Why not? Okay, so they go into dime 1-4-6. There's 2-3. They'll end up flipping coverage. So that way that the guy's blitzing off the side. Sometimes it's 3-3-5's got a pretty decent blitz in it that I've seen. I haven't set it up though yet. Like cover 3 sky, hard flats. It's just like it's this. It's an edge blitz again. Whoops, it's an edge blitz. So like Fenton off the edge. Usually you want somebody faster, and then like they can either you can user one of these guys, you can user anybody really. But basically what happens is it got picked up. It got picked up, so it is what it is. That didn't really work, right? Is he not fast enough? Here, let's try it again. I feel like it's... Oh, I'm hitting the wrong... I was like, what the hell is happening? Spread your line. QB contain. And then user anybody. So that's a big thing that's going on right now. Basically, here's how you block it. Trips tight end does a pretty good job blocking it. Spread, QB contain. Otherwise, sometimes I've had success just IDing the guy. Let me throw him out on a route. So let's see if I slide the line. Sorry, slide the line. I can't tell what's ID'd or not because that rush move is killing me. I'm just going to guess he's ID'd. All right. And then snap the ball. And then you kind of move. You can move up in the pocket a little bit to help your lineman. Otherwise, if that doesn't work, you just got to block your running back. Block running back. So there's another like solid blitz like that. So block running back. Then you can go ahead and ID the guy. And then running back picks him up. And now you can take off. Sometimes they'll have sometimes they'll put a QB spy on, sometimes they won't. But there you go. That's kind of what you got to do. Otherwise, you can like block running back. You can always double team this guy and then ID him too. There you go. Kind of out there for a little bit. I got interior pressure. Interior pressure, but I mean, my guys are already 40 yards downfield, so by that point, you should probably have a route that's developed into an open space, either a drag or something. So there it is. That's how you block it. Pretty simple. It's not as nasty as Blitzes last year, but you do have to commit one extra player into the backfield to pick it up. Otherwise, you know, you can always run. Like, this 1-4-6 is ass against the run. So it's really nice. Halfback base. 5-6 traps are really good. But, like, this is easy. Make a guy miss. That's like 8 yards. It's very hard to stop the run out of 1-4-6. So if you see someone coming up in 1-4-6, just run the fucking football. Oh, whoops. I didn't run the fucking football. Just pound it down their throats. Okay? They come out 1-4-6. You run halfback base till your freaking days are over. Right? Easy 15 yards. Easy. So that's the most effective way to beat this bullshit blitz. Is run the ball. Sometimes they'll be able to shoot the gap. Sometimes shit like that will happen. Of course. But if you consistently run against it. Otherwise, if it gets really bad, put a running back into one of your wide receiver slots, and then you can audible down to like an I form. You can audible down to an I form and then just run dive at it, too. You can weak box it, so. Gun bunch quads. Oh, okay. But anyways, that's kind of the defense that I'm seeing. So, like, big nickel cover 3 variants. I guess I could show that, too. Big nickel cover 3. Either cover 3 sky with hard flats or cover 2. So we're like this, and then I see a lot of people running this. The same thing as last year. We'll just do something like, I don't know, fake screen wheel or something. So what they do is they go this cover 2. They're like, oh, just put your middle linebacker deep. No, that's not what they do. You put this guy, this slot guy, you put him in an outside third. Okay. Him in a deep third. Him in that third. You can leave that guy on the right in his deep pass so they don't one-play touchdown you. But generally, you could go like this. You could press them. Shade it underneath. This corner route does a pretty decent job stopping corners. So maybe I could call a play with like a corner out there and see how it does. I don't really have one. But anyways, so they're like, oh, cover 2. I'll just beat up the sidelines with this play. And then you had your guy dropping back into that zone. So while they see it open, they're not looking for the guy that's running back with them. So like against normal cover 2, this is a solid play, right? Because you got that pass. But against that modified cover 2, he plays it and he picks it. It's kind of like a trap coverage almost. So that's kind of neat. It's unique to big nickel. The fact that you can put that slot corner deep third. You can't do that in normal nickel. All right. I think that's kind of like a lot of the defenses I'm seeing between, you know, man coverage, 3-5 cross man, that blitz, big nickel cover 3. Now let's go over to the offense and what were we seeing over there? So the biggest things I'm seeing right now are gun bunch, people in I form, strong, that kind of stuff, running the ball, and trips tight end. Those are like the biggest things that I'm seeing currently online. So gun bunch, this might not be the best playbook for it. Atlanta gun bunch. I know Panthers bunch offset is pretty popular. West Coast is always nice for people. Nothing too great. Bunch trail, I guess, is okay. Verticals, like I talked about, you see a bunch of people doing that. So like in bunch trail, we'll just put that as the normal one because I think we have a hot route master right there. Yeah. So in gun bunch, a lot of those defenses work. I'm generally in big nickel over G, and then I'll try and cross man a guy or two. Gun bunch, sadly, will one play palms and quarters pretty easily if the guy knows what he's doing. But gun bunch, I do think is the best passing offense right now for online play. At least the people that can use it correctly. Trips tight end is solid. But yeah, generally cover 1 against it is like a one play if they know how to get a Z route or like a post pattern on the field. So I'm in like a cover 3 until they one play bomb me. Then I'll like go to like a cover 2 variant. So yeah, gun bunch, like what you need to look for are post patterns, right? Right there. So it's like a lot of people run like streak, post, slant, or like in route, slant him. So something like this. All right, in route. All right, so like this. Slant Godwin, post pattern, and then the running back goes out. So you need to check out what you want to do. Post pattern, slant, streak, drag, that kind of stuff. Sometimes use a clear out route from the tight end, but it is what it is. Some people motion across, different ones. Godwin sometimes goes there. There you go. Godwin's open, post pattern. You go 15-yard depth on your hook curls there for that solid play. Otherwise, yeah, bunch is kind of just like different routes. You got to be like, there's no one way of saying bunch is doing this because bunch can go corner routes, they can go post pattern, so it's really like a thinking game. And you can run a blitz at it, cross man it, but basically you got to just outthink your opponent, try and outuse where they're going. Trips tight end, I've been through that a bunch. Definitely the crossing, the over pattern is the one you want to go for. If you go against trips tight end, put like a cloud flat at a 25-yard depth just to take away that crosser. Sometimes they can throw streaks onto you. You could go a deep one and like a hard flat there, like a purple route at 25 and a hard flat at 5, or the purple route at 5, the hard flat at 25, that kind of stuff, or both, or cloud flat, just flat zones. So otherwise, trips tight ends there. X spot's a pretty popular play. I think that's Fancy's favorite play. I'm in New England, so this one isn't really the same as what I'm in normally, but the other one is the I-form, the tour, the Oakland tour. I guess it's the Las Vegas tour this year. Stretch, dive, and this stuff is super hard to stop, right? So I've started to use cover 3 bear, cover 3. I actually don't press it, but I shift linebackers out. Sometimes I'll use their tie route, but sometimes they can beat me over the top of like a post pattern because I use it too far down. So I'll start the game maybe using a linebacker, but then like after that, I'll maybe put Tyron into I'll use him. So basically, you're here, you try to shoot the gaps, but they can still get a pretty good job and do a pretty good job against you. So it really depends on like what you feel. Pinch your D-line, spread your linebackers, user honey badger right here. Just if it's not a run, you're gonna have to get back there to stop any post patterns fast. So you can't, if you're in the deep blue, you can't sit here shuffling your feet if they have Tyreek Hill out there on the far left and he's running a post pattern. Just something I've personally run against. Spread linebackers, pinch D-line. 3-4 bear is what I'm trying right now to stop it. And it's okay. It does a pretty decent job. The other run stopping formation a lot of people use is the same one we used last year, which was the nickel 3-3-5 wide. Nickel 3-3-5 wide, cover 2 man. And they come out in the same stuff. I-form, we'll do close. ISO, it works against stretch too. Spread your D-line, pinch, shade over the top. Put your safeties into spies. The thing about 3-3-5 is that it's kind of messed up. See how the fullback's not covered? This guy right here should be on the fullback. So generally, I'll flip my 3-3-5 wide so that way it doesn't glitch out. Right? Flip it doesn't glitch out like it does normally. So right here, and you just kind of run to the line of scrimmage and you try to stop them. Either a dive or a stretch. So 3-3-5 wide. It is what it is. It's not great at the goal line because they can still get a yard or two out of it, but it's a fine defense. The other one is like you got to shoot gaps. People have been shooting gaps at a 3-5 normal. I'll show you how to shoot gaps against like it only works against very specific sets, right? Shooting gaps isn't the same in every run, so that way it's like not the greatest defense. It's better to have like it'd be cool if defense worked like defense IRL. We'll just do like a halfback stretch, pinch, crash down, QB contain. I like to press too in this, but basically you go here and then you sit here with your linebacker, you wait for them to call the play, and then you shoot this gap right here. And I'm not fast enough. If you hit A away from the ball carrier, your guy will shuffle and sit down, so that's kind of frustrating. But same thing, pinch, crash, QB contain. I'll bring him down, and then it's tough to do it on two controllers, but like, yeah, see that? Shoot that gap against that stretch. So it only works against certain formations, though, so it's not the greatest big nickel defense, but it is what it is. I-form close it works against. That's the meta right now, right? I-form, gun bunch, trips tight end, defense, that was it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully this was educational about what's going on in online Madden. Thanks for watching Call to Action.